Chapter 16. The Odds of Success. Rule number 7. So, are we going to meet the big man today? Jamal was seated on a city bus next to the Rev. The old man took the window seat. We're up to rule number 7, Jamal continued. This my lucky day? Get to meet the richest man in New Babylon? Some big-time company president or CEO? A lucky number, the Rev said. Appropriate. Very appropriate. But to answer your question, no, not a CEO. We're going to meet someone in a different line of work, more like investing and insurance. The downtown bus they were on traveled to a very different part of the city. Jamal recognized several landmarks. They were close to the edge of his old neighborhood. When the Rev signaled the bus driver, they exited on the corner not 3 blocks from where Pink had robbed the Q-Mart. He wondered where Pink was incarcerated. Prison was a scary place. If Pink was in there, that would make it worse. You have friends around here? Jamal said to the Rev. More of an acquaintance, the Rev said. Met him while I was helping arrange a truce in a gang war. A man to respect. Jamal had been staying away from this part of town. At first, he was just letting things cool down, but now, he just liked it better around Pacific Avenue. The Rev headed for a doorway next to a storefront. No signs, not even a bell or buzzer. They walked up a flight of stairs, and as they reached the landing, the door opened. A very large man wearing a suit with a large bulge in the area where you might wear a shoulder holster was facing them. We're expected, the Rev said. The man nodded and showed them into a waiting room. The walls were black. Several black wooden chairs lined one wall. Nobody else was waiting. The big man opened the second door, disappeared briefly, then stepped out and gestured to the Rev and Jamal to enter. The walls of the dimly lit inner office were black. The only white light came from a desk lamp and a computer screen on a desk that stood almost in the center of the room. A purplish glow illuminated a large, make that huge aquarium on one side of the room. Jamal recognized the man dressed entirely in black, who was standing next to the aquarium. Booker, he whispered to the Rev. Lenny Booker. No Limit Lenny Booker. You know him? Mr. Booker and I have been acquainted for a while, the Rev said in his normal voice. How long now? Back about 10 years? About that, Booker said as he leaned over a small fishbowl near the aquarium. Jamal saw him catch a live goldfish in a small net. He opened the cover of the aquarium and dropped the goldfish into the big tank. It started swimming around, and suddenly it disappeared. A big blue-greenish fish had snapped it down in one gulp. Big fish eat little fish, Booker said, putting the net down. Piranha, he said. Snack time. Supper is more substantial. Big fish can eat big fish too, but you're not here for fish stories. No, sir, Mr. Booker, Jamal said. The Rev, he said I was going to meet an investor and insurance advisor. Booker laughed. Sounds almost respectable. Wait a minute now, Jamal said. You're the richest man in town? Booker laughed again. I'm a reasonably successful entrepreneur, Booker said, but I'm not up there with the big-time attorneys and doctors, and some of my colleagues who specialize in the pharmaceutical industry, they likely do more business than me. Bigger risk, bigger reward, which leads us right to the subject for our meeting. Investments and insurance, the Rev said. Investments and insurance, Booker said. Your name again? Jamal Thomas. Well, Jamal, you know me by reputation, if not personally, Booker said. Yes, sir. Gambling. You want to place a bet on anything? You talk to one of Mr. Booker's friends, Jamal said. Win, you get paid quick. Lose, you better pay up quick. If you do any other business, any pharmaceuticals, like you said, or any other kind of business, you don't mess with Mr. Booker and he don't mess with you. Got all that about right, Booker said. Now, the thing about my business, of course, is that it's all off the books. Suits and cops, they might say it's all illegal. So that means there are folks I gotta pay, so they go look for some other entrepreneur to hassle. Okay, Jamal said. I understand, but what's all that got to do with investing in insurance? Everything, Booker said. Jamal stared at the man in black. Booker remained silent. I'm not getting this, Jamal said. Here's your rule, Jamal, the Rev said. Surprised the heck out of me when Mr. Booker explained it to me. Get your notebook. Write this down. Booker watched Jamal prepare to take notes, then proceeded. Investing and insurance are nothing but high-toned, fancy-ass ways to gamble. It's all about knowing the odds, Booker said. That's it. Investing and insurance. Legal ways to gamble. You understand that, and you know everything you need to know about stocks and bonds and mutual funds and term insurance and whole life and all that crap. It's all the same damn thing I do. It's upscale, sure, but it's all just fancy bookmaking. Now wait a minute, Jamal said. Hear him out, the Rev said. It's like this, Booker said. You buy a stock in a company, you're placing a bet. You hope its price is going to go up, pay off, and make you a winner. Maybe pay you a little dividend, too, kind of like earning some interest. But maybe the company falls apart. Stock goes down. No dividends. You lose. Big, well-known companies, they may be better bets, less risky, probably won't tank, but they may not have a big payoff either. Some brand new company you never heard of. Place your bet there. You may get a real big payoff, Booker said, but it's more risky. Better chance it goes belly up and you're gonna lose everything. Mutual funds. You heard of them? Booker said. Yeah, Jamal said. Okay, that's the same thing. Only instead of betting one stock, you bet on a whole bunch of companies that some smart people, portfolio managers they call them, have picked out. If you was playing the horses, we'd call it betting the field. One stock breaks down, it won't be so bad, less risky. But if one goes great, the rest stay the same, then there's less reward. A lot of the smart money gets bet on index funds, Booker continued. An index fund has all the stocks from something like the Dow Jones Index or the S&P 500 Index in it. You buy an index fund, you're betting on the whole damn bunch of them. With any of these bets, you gotta find out what the hidden cost is. That's like the VIG you pay to a loan shark. Only with mutual funds and index funds, they call it a load. If you're gonna be streetwise, make that Wall Street wise, you look for a no-load fund. The load is the fees they charge you. Anytime you buy any of this stuff, you ask about how much it costs. Everything, all the costs. Insurance, Booker continued. He was on a roll. Now, for me, I make my regular payments to a few carefully selected members of our law enforcement community. Odds are real good that these small contributions to the welfare of the men in blue will significantly reduce the possibility of unforeseen business interruptions. Same principle applies in any other kind of insurance. He continued, take life insurance, works the same way. Insurance premium, the payments you make, that's just another kind of bet. You're betting with the insurance company on whether you're gonna die. Car insurance? What are the odds you gonna crack up your ride? You get under the hood. Look at what drives all this stuff. It's just figuring out the odds and placing bets. You follow? Yeah, Jamal said. Mostly. Now, two more important things you gotta understand, Booker said. First, just like when you're gambling, remember this. The house always wins. You write that down. Jamal nodded. He started writing. What I say? Booker demanded. The house always wins, Jamal said. That's right. You remember that. The house always wins, Booker said. Casino advisor, stockbroker, insurance agent, state lottery, financial advisor, me, your friendly neighborhood bookie, in the long run, we will always come out ahead, Booker said. That's because we set the odds. We're in business to make money. We are not dummies, so the house is always going to win. That means if you're going to be smart about your investing in insurance, you got to know the odds And you got to figure out just how much the house is going to win. What are the odds? How risky is the proposition? Can you lose everything you bet? What's it going to cost you to place your bet? What's the rake or the vig? Is some sales rep getting a fee or maybe a percentage of your action? Somebody sells you something, some fund or insurance or anything. How's he going to get paid? Got to be getting something, right? Got to make a living? You got to dig and find out how much it costs because... Booker paused. He waited for Jamal to come up with the answer. The house always wins, Jamal finally said. That's right, Booker said. The house always wins. The other big thing you got to remember, Booker said, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. If it sounds too good to be true, it is, Jamal repeated as he made more notes. If you was gambling, you'd call it a sucker bet. Someone offers you a proposition that is just an obvious, no-brainer, sure thing. What happens if you take that bet? Booker paused and waited until Jamal looked up at him, and he kept waiting. You lose? Jamal said. You lose, Booker said. Man says to you, invest $5,000 with me, and with increased value and compound interest, it'll be worth $10,000 in 10 years. That sound reasonable? I'd have to know more, but that sounds like it could happen, Jamal said. Could be a good deal. Same dude says, give me 5 large, and with my inside track and little tip I got, I'm going to get you $10,000 in 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Now that sounds really sweet, right? Yeah, real good, Jamal said. Too good, Booker said. Ah, yeah, too good. Too good to be true, Jamal said. I'd be saying goodbye to $5,000. You're catching on, Booker said. You got any idea how hard it is to win if you're playing poker? $1 or $2 here and there, maybe if you're real good and you're lucky, you can come out far enough ahead and make a living. Yeah, Jamal said. You really got to know the game and study the cards. Got to know what happens to the odds every time you see a new card. Got to know a lot of stuff. And then, you got to be lucky. Investing in insurance and all that is all the same. You could play it safe, find safe bets, fairly low-risk places to put your money. You won't double it in 10 weeks, but you won't lose it all either. But if you're going to make big bets, you got to know a lot of stuff. Study it day and night, and maybe get lucky. That's it, Booker said. The meeting was over. He stood up, went over to the goldfish bowl, and scooped up another little fish, and opened the cover of the big aquarium. How much you gonna bet depends on how much you can win and how much you can afford to lose, Booker said. Risk and reward. Booker dropped the little fish into the tank, and the waiting piranha snapped it up. Get it? Booker said, turning toward Jamal. Got it, Jamal said. Illustration of Jamal's notebook. The rules. Number 1, pay yourself first. Number 2, if you want to have more money, spend less. Number 3, teeny tiny baby steps. Number 4, never pay interest. Always earn interest. Paying principal puts money in your own pocket. Number 5, practice, practice, practice. Get a little bit better every day. Number 6, make it automatic. Number 7, investing in insurance equals legalized gambling. And remember, the house always wins.